Hello, hello, everybody. This is going to be fun.
Hey, yes, happy Monday. Oh my God, I almost said Monday evening. We are on Wednesday. Thursday?
We're on Thursday. It's been a while, hasn't it there, Kelly?
Oh my God. Kelly Chiasson, Samantha Glass, Dr. Lester Bailey, PDP. We are your personal development productions group coming to you. And this is really exciting. Formerly recognized and known as the High Five Club with personal development in the PM. And we're really excited. We've been on vacation, end of summer hiatus, and putting things together. We are excited about things that are coming forward. So my lovely partners, we were discussing, okay, what is going to be the topic that we talk about tonight? And I jumped in and I said, can we cover something that came up recently? My mom shared an email. And I thought, regardless, there's a couple, Lester, for those of you that are not familiar, he has an amazing family. He is a father, a husband, a grandfather, a great-grandfather. There's about a bazillion individuals and human beings in his family. Samantha is raising two incredible boys, a teenager and a eve of turning 5-year-old. And then I've got, my husband and I have got 4 kids from 18 down to 11. And the email that my mom shared talked about impression management. In short is, where are we where we feel like we are the purest versions of ourselves, where we can really express how we feel at that given time. And when we're true to ourselves, an unself-conscious expression of who we are. We're not really thinking about it, but we just know that's where we can be who we are. And I asked if we could nail this down tonight. And I don't think that's not right, because this could go on and on. This could be like a year-long segment. No one's asking for that. But I thought it was interesting because for those of us that have kids or our parents or grandparents, when you start the school year, you see it in the kids' classrooms. You see it in the parking lot, on the playground, the stories, the events that are shared when they come home, when you're riding home, when you're talking about kids acting this way or that way. And you can see, sometimes if you catch kids at the end of the recess, at the end of the day, who looks a little bit more natural integrating with the other kids, who maybe looks a little, maybe not so warm and fuzzy. It's new in the school year, lots of changes. And then as adults, just outside of the school part, I think it's fair to say a lot of adults, we find ourselves in situations that allow us to be more comfortable and the truest versions of ourselves than others. So Lester, Sam, take it away.
Well, first of all, hello, everybody, PDP. So look, if you're watching us here live on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe this video, because we're going to be coming to you every single day with personal development. So that's the first thing I have to say. I'm so glad to be back with my partners here, and for all of our viewers that have been asking us to be back. We're here. So please like, comment, share with everybody that you know. I love this topic, impression management. Where do you mostly feel comfortable? Look, it's a hard topic because we're almost like chameleons, right? We try to be who we think we have to be in a specific setting, right? We are so convinced, and I can't say, when I say we, I don't mean like everybody. There's some people that are like, I don't care what setting I go in, I'm going to be myself. But there's others that feel they have to be people pleasers, that I'm going to go into a room and I'm going to find a group of people that I can almost be that chameleon and change myself to be like them so that I'm accepted into that group. And, that's good and bad. It's a good thing because you get to know people, but it's bad because you never will get out of that, that circle, that never ending circle, that broken record. And what you really want to do is try to really find, like what Kelly said, where is your best fit? Where can you be yourself? And the only way to do that is to be open-minded. It's to be that individual that walks into the room and starts to get to know all different types of people and figure out where you fit. But that doesn't mean that you need to change you. It means you need to be you, right? That's what I really want to focus on, is you need to be you. You are original because there is nobody else like you, right? And I'll tell you, it's a hard lesson that I learned. I really thought that I had to please everybody. I really thought that I had to, in order to be accepted, I had to do things that people wanted me to do. And I think that's a product of my past, of being bullied, that I just wanted to fit somewhere, right? I wanted to find my group, my gang, my, where do I have to be? But then what happens is I became a sheep. I became that follower, and I wasn't a leader, and I was silencing myself, right? I was not embracing who I was. And I think that for our viewers, I don't know if you guys agree, if you've ever faced this. And if you did, please, comment in the chat or let us know privately your experiences. But it's not easy. It's not easy to realize that you don't need to be somebody other than who you are. And the only way that I learned that is I broke free. I took a risk, and I was scared to take that risk. I went into a new environment that I didn't know if anybody was going to like me or what they were going to say about me. And I was so concerned about being judged and that I wouldn't have any friends or that I'd have people putting me down, that it took me so long in my life to realize that that's not what I need. I need to be me. Whether you like me or you don't like me, it's irrelevant, because you're not the one who's going to achieve my goals for me. I'm the only one that can do that. So where do I find myself? Where can I be myself? Well, I can be myself anywhere I want, because I've grown into that space. But it took me years to realize that I could do that I could lead, that I could be me. And if people don't want to hear the jokes, people don't want to hang out with me, that's okay. You don't like what I have to say? No worries. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Before, maybe not so much, but now I'm good. I'm good at being Samantha Glass. So, Lester? Oh, Lester.
Hello. That mute catches us all. Technology is great. So let me start out with asking a question. Who am I? How many times have you asked yourself, who am I? And what is my purpose in life? We've learned through personal development that there are 4 quadrants of personality. We've learned that either you're a shark, a dolphin, a whale, or an urchin. And you can look up the personalities, the different personality characteristics, because each one of us has one. But who am I? As a child, I wanted to be, of course, an astronaut. I wanted to make sure that I went out and visited the world. I wanted everybody to look at me, because at the time when I was growing up, that was the big talk about who was going to be an astronaut, going out of space. Now, I've lived long enough to see the very first spaceship go up in the world, which, for some of you all, you call me ancient. So, but I asked myself, that's what I wanted to do. Of course, when I got to school the next day, the teacher asked me, well, don't you want to be a teacher? And I said, oh, wow, that would be good. And then someone said, would you like to be a policeman, a fireman, a judge, a senator, the president of the United States? All of my personalities ask the question, who am I? What did I want to be? Then as I grew older, somebody says, be your authentic self. That was really interesting, because who am I? How many times have I asked that question? Who is it that I show up? Am I that person that's a comedian? Or am I that super serious person that takes everything? Or am I too sensitive? People say things and it just hits my feelings. Or am I the champion? When Muhammad Ali would stand out there and say, I am the champ. But what did that look like? So many times we want to know, what is it that we look like? How do people actually see us? The real answer to that question is to ask your best friend. Your best friend sees everything that you do, and they actually tell you who you actually are. The problem with that is we don't want to believe them. We want to believe we're someone else. We still want to argue with someone because we know what that looks like, but not to ourselves. But you want to be authentic. When your friend goes to you, some of them say, "You're the greatest listener of all time." And yet you'll say, "I never listen to anything. I interrupt every bit of the conversation." Some of them say that you happen to be that person. You happen to be that person who is really analytical. You study everything and you only talk facts and figures, but you don't see it because you're still asking yourself, who am I? What does that authentic self look like? When you start to write down your own characteristics, whether you're the shark, the whale, the urchin, or the dolphin, you see that you're a little bit of everything. You love when people can turn around and bring you a serious subject and you can break it down for someone so that that way they can have it at ease. They can actually understand what they're saying. Or you can be that person who is just so smart that you can't break down a simple word because everybody you know knows it. Or you could be that opinionated person, that person who's so opinionated that they think differently, you'll tell them. our, our personalities are so good and are so straight, but who am I? Well, Stable Development Productions, and I hope I'm not frozen. I hope you stay with Personal Development Productions. And let's deep dive into how our personalities, act. How do we react with our personality? What are some of the qualities that we actually have that people around us actually see? And like normal, what we ask you to do in this group more than anything else is to take out something so simple. It's called paper and pen.
Oh, you know
You
what?
have to have your paper and your pen because if you're going through this session without taking notes, you're not being a part of us. You're not being with us. When you start writing things down, then you can get, clarity of who you are, not who you want to be. Do you want to be a millionaire or are you a millionaire?
Right.
You don't have to wait until you get the money. You just have to have the feeling. So I passed this to my most dynamic partner, my super mamapreneur, Miss Kelly Chiasson. So Kelly, it's back to you.
I love that you talk about our characteristics or our personality traits because in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, there's a lot of self-evaluation. And so that's immediately what I went to when you were talking about that. And he talks and highlights, if you will, one of the chapters, sex transmutation and how we use that and, the process by which we control how we're perceived by others in given situations. And how do we use that leverage to benefit ourselves? Possibly, as we've talked about, the three of us have been at this for like over 2 years now, but it's also an opportunity to control how people perceive us in situations. The mystery of sex transmutation, yes, to protect ourselves depending on the situation that we're in. So I think it's always really important to discuss the personality traits, look at the personality traits that are strengths for us and how they serve us, how we use our different personality traits and our different characteristics to serve us to the best of our ability, depending on if we're walking into a parent-teacher conference, if you have to stand up and self-advocate, if you are someone like Samantha, who is growing one of the largest paralegal firms in all of Toronto in the GTA area, advocating for somebody else, what characteristics is she needing to use and personality traits does she need to lean on significantly when she's advocating for the human rights of somebody else. Lester, this is why everyone, this gets really fun, because Dr. Bailey has served, he was a brother in blue for 30 years. So always a huge thank you for serving and protecting. He also served 2 presidents as a private security. So when you think about the different characteristics and personality traits you needed to be able to pull out of your hat on a whim, dependent upon your situation and what it was going to call for, how necessary is it to really be in tune with who we are? And like you said, not who we want to be, but who are we? Because at any given time, we're going to be called to be ourselves. And if we can be ourselves as opposed to pretending to be somebody or something that we're not, I think the end result of that is going to feel healthy. It's going to, feel good, even though maybe it's not a great situation, but you can feel good that you were, using your own characteristics, your own strengths to serve you in that particular space. So I love that you talked about that. And we love TGR. Again, for all of you listening, what the hell is TGR? Hold it up. Mine's over here. Let's see. Wow. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. So that's my comment on that. I like that you said that because it's been a little bit since we've talked. So it's funny that it comes up that we all came together around Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And then your comments take me right to what he talks about in his principles of success here.
That's amazing. Kelly, what you were saying, you can only pretend to be someone else for so long.
Yeah.
And it starts to eat you inside and you start to hate yourself. You start to see that you're like, I don't enjoy anything anymore. And you can't understand why. And if that's you, and it's been me before many times, then you know that something's got to give. And that comes down to, again, just being you. It goes back to the original comments that I made that we need to stop people pleasing. We need to know that it's not about, you can fake it till you make it. You can have that desire. You should believe you already have it, but you're not here to please anybody but yourself. That's what it comes down to. I know it sounds terrible. People are like, oh, how can you say that? But that's what life is about. We all have goals. We all have desires. And we have to think about how are we going to get there? Who do we associate with in order to get there? But not, hey, let me be fake so these people like me so that maybe I can get some sort of advanced level up in order to get there. There are no shortcuts. There's no
that shit wears thin.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does. And it's not even just that. You're eating yourself up inside and you don't realize the damage you can cause to yourself if you try to be anybody but who you are. Right? So I just really want to put that out there that, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, no problem. I can just totally do what these guys want. Whatever. That only lasts for so long. And then you start to feel it. And then you start to wonder why. And that's kind of what I've heard from you guys here is that the only person you can be is you. So embrace who you are. And it starts from learning who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you need to TGR it because that's how you'll find out who you are. Do the self-analysis questions in the back of that book and personality types. Go for it. Personality types to learn which personality types are you. So you know what? We'll post in the chat on YouTube the link to a personality quiz. You guys should take the quiz and find out who you are and understand the different types of personalities so that you can better mesh with these kinds of people. Because I'll tell you, in my business, I deal with all of them. I'm sure we all deal with all of them. I know who I am. I know my strengths and weaknesses, but I have clients of all walks of life, right? They're not expecting me to be them. They're expecting me to be me. That's why they come to me for who I am. But if I was somebody else, they wouldn't, they would feel that. You have to understand, when you're around somebody, you let off this energy, right? People can feel when you're afraid. People can feel when it's not you. They know when you're not genuine. So you really have to understand that, you know, the jig is up, my friends. The mask comes off and you will be exposed. I hate to say it that way. It sounds so terrible, but it is the absolute truth that you can only act for so long and then people will discover it. So just be you, be real. People love you. That's what it's about. They love you if you're genuine and you're real.
Lester, how did that apply? I just have got to ask, because I like asking Lester about his police days. After you were going to say what you want to say, please let us know why, for you, when you're in confrontations, because people find themselves in confrontations career-wise, with other parents, maybe, with friends, especially with discussions around COVID, elections coming up. There's lots of opportunities for confrontations or heated discussions. So when you look at, I mean, you had years of it as a police officer. So when you talk about being you and really, you know, figuring out which aspects of yourself is so important to have to fall on in these situations, why does that matter? How did that help you?
The funny part about all of these different personalities that you use from time to time, one, you have to be authentic. Once you all, again, as you know, Professor Glass said, make sure that you like and share. It's important to do that. When you are seeing who you are, you know, it goes back to when you were a kid. You remember being that child, you wanted to be everybody's friend. And you took a little bit of Danny's, a little bit of Joe's, a little bit of Karen's, a little bit of Pam's, a little bit of Debbie's, a little bit of, you know, Bobby. You took a little bit of everybody's personality and they rub off on you. That's why it's so hard to know who you are. As a policeman, you know, going into conflict, the best thing that you could ever be is a person who wants to listen. Because when you don't listen, you heighten everybody who's around you. It's like someone who has, we'll call it immature OCD. You know, they're not quite the person that has that overdeveloped sense. You know, they have to wash their hands 13 times in a row. But they may be that person that has to wash their hands. If you see an attorney, and we're going to use Professor Glass, you see an attorney, they are 100% OCD. Things have to be in order. If they are not in order, then it doesn't make any sense to them. They can't move. As a policeman, if you have that personality, you may come up missing because people on the street do not act in order. They have no order or sense about what's going on around them. If you're a person that loves to joke around, you would be surprised in policing how telling a joke at the appropriate time may make a difference in lightening a situation. What type of salesman would you like to see? If a salesman greets you at the door and say, hi, such, oh, excuse me, we promised to use the word, blah, 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 blah. If the salesman comes into the door using all of those blahs, do you like it? How about the guy that's sitting over to the side and comes up to you and says real politely, hi, my name is John. When you have an opportunity and you'd like to know some more, I will be over here. He gives you a handshake, a nice firm handshake. You feel comfortable. But that's that guy's personality because he is not trying to jump on you. He's trying to let you make a decision. See, when you're trying to be someone else and you're not the person that can do that, they can sit there and sit tall, you would surprise yourself how difficult it is because people see fake just as fast as you do. I remember each one of us had a challenge in our lives. Is that first time that we were going to speak out loud to other people. How did that feel? Which personality came out in you? The funny one, the serious one, the one that says, I don't give a hoot, all of those personalities have to come out, but how do they show up? How do you show up? And this is why when we're talking about your first impression, ooh, that first impression, what do you want someone to see about you right away? What is that thing that you want them to see? Because they could still see through you. They can see through you immediately. You know, I like when Kelly asked me the police questions. You know, when I first started the job, I was a sheep. I was that scared little kid dressed up in a police uniform. By the time I left, I was the wolf. I would eat anybody up as I was going along. But my personality was, I was still quiet. I used to be the shyest kid out on the block. You all have no idea how shy I was. But that wasn't who I was. It was how I had to show up for people because I didn't think I had anything to say to anyone. As I've grown up and grown with more wisdom, my personality started showing up. That impression started showing up. Fake left. Yes, each and every one of us loved to joke. If you saw outtakes of even this program, you would guarantee, I can guarantee you, we will be laughing. Guarantee. Because we work well together. And having not been in the same room at the same time ever in our lives.
We may as well be.
Right. Because our personalities mesh. We learned that the particular thing is perspective of everything is what counts. What is the perspective that you have of yourself? And we'll be in here, you know, many times. I'm not going to say every day like, you know, Professor Glass, because she's excited right now. But we will put a lot. We will put a lot of videos up here because what we want you to do is learn, who are you? You thought I wasn't going to come back to the question, who am I? I'm here. I'm still going to ask you. We're going to make sure that we deep dive into these things. We're going to help you be able to search who you really are. What are some of the things that show up for you and us? Because each one of our personalities is great and they all work together. And you would be surprised in all the different venues of things that we do. You would be surprised how we got together on personal development. Let me.
And
Ooh.
Elvis has left the building.
Professor Glass?
I love what you're saying, and I could go on this topic for a very long time because I'm telling you guys, those that know me, those that don't, you probably watched in other videos or you're going to learn that it's been a roller coaster of a life. It's been a yo-yo. It's been days where I'm like, oh gosh, what am I doing? Like, am I serious about what I'm doing? Or am I completely confused? Like, and I get that way. And it's interesting now that things are starting to open up here in Ontario. I'll tell you, it's not easy getting back in front of people. It's very hard. I'm getting in this space where, you know, I'm like, am I me? Who am I? What's happening? Do I need to sit here and have a discussion with myself? Because I get afraid. And I can't figure out, am I the same Samantha Glass that it was 18 months ago? Or am I Samantha Glass that's been able to really sit with myself and figure out what the heck is going on within my mind, right? And I don't know if anybody else faces that. It's very hard. But I'll tell you, we were on this break here from personal development. And, you know, the habit that we created with this group was amazing. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just have to say to you, whether we're here, whether you're watching us or not, don't forget that every day is a day for personal development, and not to be afraid to get out there and know that you're going to be facing challenge after challenge. Expect it, right? It will happen. So just be ready. And, you know, like the challenge that I'm facing, how do I speak in front of people? I faced that fear before COVID, and now I'm going to have to go and do it again. But that's okay, because I knew who I was then, and I really believe that I know who I am now. But those challenges will test you. Those challenges will make you doubt yourself, and you should never doubt yourself. But it is a roller coaster. where something will stand in your way and you're like, oh, I'm going to doubt myself again. What do I do? Right? So I can go on and on and on, and I'm sure that my partners would let me, but we're not going to do that. So we'll leave this discussion for another time. And I'm just going to give you, Lester, what am I going to give them?
Final thoughts.
So I'll just give you my final thoughts since I'm going on and on here. All I have to say is just be you. Be you and know who the authentic you is. Know who that is. If you don't know who it is, like these guys said here, ask your best friend or ask yourself in a mirror and write it down. What do you love about yourself? What do you love about you? And what are the things that you love to do? Write them down and start to position yourself in places where you just love it. You want to have more of it. Those are my final thoughts.
I like your final
thought is, don't be afraid to be yourself.
What? These are like the shortest ones ever, you guys.
We can go around again if you like.
Okay. All right. Mine is I am me. So if we're talking about our version, who we are, I am me. I am the creator of ideas, swimming in a sparkling sea of imagination. A magician of sorts, turning thoughts of wonderment into pieces of originality. Each creation showcases my own personal journey. My worries, dreams, and ambitions are everything I love about me. All that was yesterday and all that I'll be tomorrow is neatly contained in my glorious creations. And when you glance over my work, you are catching a glimpse of my soul. A part of me is in every piece I create. I march to my own beat and I wildly dance to my own rhythm. Passion runs through my veins as emotions are fuel for my craft. Certain pieces I protect. I'll keep them to myself, while others I choose to share with the world. I am a gift shining my light brightly for the entire universe to see. I am all of these things and more, rolled into one amazingly talented and unique me.
That was amazing. So before we end off, thank you to those that are watching, and I can see you there in the YouTube chat. So thank you very much, Dan Schofield, James Dondo, Queen, Gabby Belvedere, and for all of those that are watching that we've moved over here to YouTube, thank you for supporting us over these past 2 years as we have done this show. Like, subscribe, share. We will keep coming back with you with PDP.
Have an amazing time.